Let's jump to 21 through 30. Headlined by Josh Jacobs, another kind of unsexy pick, but just delivers every year when he's healthy. Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, who went a little under the radar. He ended the season on an absolute monstrous tear and looked like 2021 JT again. T. Higgins, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, Kyren Williams, and then sneaking into the top 30, the often talked about on this show, Jaden Daniels. All right, we can clap Jaden Daniels on the 30. Well done, Jaden. Stuck into the top 30. Well done, mate.
God bless.
Offensive rookie of the year.
God bless.
All right, let's not talk about Jaden Daniels, Lawrence. Let's talk about...
Are you sure?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about him.
He's very good.
Yeah, he's great. So you know who else is great? Chase Brown, Lawrence, who is going to get a ton of work in that Bengals backfield, still largely unopposed in terms of work share.
Yeah, he's like the Jaden Daniels of running backs.
I don't know about that.
I think you talking mess on Jaden Daniels when you say that.
I'm kidding.
But Chase Brown's still really good, right? And we watched the whole NFL draft, looking and seeing when and if they would draft the running back, but no one of real significance that could threaten him to reaching his upside as a top 10 running back, which is what he was. He came into the league undersized, proved that he could hold up in pass protection, proved that you could play him in all three downs. And when you got this, if you're the running back attached to Joe Burrow in this Bengals offense, who we kind of think they're going to be in some shootouts again because they didn't do a lot on defense, you can expect a guy like Chase Brown to be very valuable from a PPR standpoint.
And it's sustainable. His last year in Illinois, that's what he did. He was the workhorse for that entire offense. The amount of carries he got, the rushing totals, and then obviously last year for the Bengals, he showed that it wasn't a fluke. He can carry it at the NFL level. And they're telling you this offseason that they believe it, because they drafted Taj Brooks at the end of day 3 of the draft, who is more of a kind of shifty in between the tackles runner without any breakaway speed. They bring back Samaje Perine on a really low veteran deal, like Zach Moss is there. There's no one in this backfield that should be eating into his...
Not like that.
No, not like that. So all the hype on Chase Brown, as long as he's healthy, should stay real.
Yeah, you know what? I moved him slightly over based on the NFL draft. He moved ahead of Kyren Williams, who prior to the NFL draft, I had Kyren ahead of Chase Brown. Again, limited backfield competition. You mentioned Zach Moss off the bad injury or Taj Brooks, whereas Kyren Williams has now both Blake Corum and Jarquez Hunter, right? And last year, the Rams were 32nd. Literally no team was worse than the NFL in terms of running back target share. They don't throw to their running backs. So Kyren Williams desperately needs like massive rushing volume to get the kind of production that he's had. And so I'm a little bit nervous. Like, they tend to run when they get in close, but now they just added Davante Adams. And who's better in the red zone, especially from 10 to 5 yards out, than Davante Adams? They're going to be running slants all day.
Yeah, and they have a couple tight ends now.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, we always talk about this level. You have to nitpick. So I moved Brown ahead of Kyren Williams. Over the final 8 games last year, he was the 4th best running back in fantasy football. And most importantly, I think to the Bengals brass, proved he could be an every down back.
All right. Well, speaking of Kyren, you mentioned 4th-round rookie Jarquez Hunter. We heard from Sean McVay talking about Hunter.
And he can hit home runs for you, too. You give him a vertical seam, he's got the ability to run away from you. I mean, some of the metrics that we have on him are really impressive. But, I texted Kyren how excited I am for him to be able to get a chance to learn from him and be around him. And you talk about the epitome of a pro's pro, the way that he goes about his business day in and day out, and Kyren Williams. And it's the same thing. He'll get a chance to see how Blake Corum moves. What does Ronnie Rivers, how does he do his thing? Cody Schrader into his 2nd year. So we were excited about him, and obviously Les and his group had a real appreciation for him. And then once the coaches laid eyes on him, there was a collective buy-in.
Wow. Ronnie Rivers getting a shout out.
You got to show love to all the guys.
Ronnie Rivers.
How is he still on the team?
Matter of fact, shout out to Todd Gurley, too.
Yeah,
Sean McVay and
exactly.
Les Snead matching outfits there.
The unity in Rams house.
Yes.
Is this the year, Connor, that Kyren Williams finally gets his workload eaten into?
No, unless he gets hurt. Stop believing this. It's ridiculous. I fell for it last year, and I said never again, like the Alamo. It's just no way. It's not. listen, he's a 4th-round pick. Hunter's a good player, but they keep drafting the same type of guy just because they're worried about Kyren getting hurt, which he has gotten banged up in the past. But that was the thought with Blake Corum, and that's the thought. And Blake Corum was a guy that came into the NFL banged up as well. And now with Jarquez Hunter, who's a good player and in between the tackles, tough runner. But it's not like they took someone that is so out of the range of skill sets.
Sure.
Like we took this guy that runs a 4.3 and we need him on the field and this look to run a wheel route. They didn't take that guy. So no, this is Kyren Williams' offense until he's hurt.
Yeah, but would you argue this? I prefer Hunter and Corum to Taj Brooks and Zach Moss.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so my point is that, again, you're having a nitpick. That's why I put Chase Brown over.
I would have done that as well.
Over Kyren Williams.
Yeah, I would have
But
done
I agree
that
with
as
you. The workload's going to be there. He's still going to be a good fantasy running back.
Between Chase Brown now and Kyren Williams is going to probably end up being the better value now because he's going after Chase Brown now in these.
Last year he fell too.
Yeah, so
I know no one likes Kyren Williams.
Like Kyren Williams, I was just in the draft. He went in the 4th round. We talking about redraft. That's probably your RB1 in fantasy in the 4th round.
For sure.
Yep. Let's take another look at 21 through 30. Lawrence, I saw your eyes light up when I mentioned our man Jonathan Taylor, who shares my profile picture on the platform formerly known as X. He was magnificent.
Friend of the podcast.
Magnificent. Ever since he dropped the touchdown running into the end zone in Denver, he was magnificent down the stretch. And if he replicates that, then he's a top 5 running back.
Easily. And I know for right now we say, Saquon, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then you take Ashton Jeanty. There's one more guy I'd take in front of Ashton Jeanty, and it's Jonathan Taylor. There was no better running back in fantasy from weeks 13 to the end of the fantasy football season than Jonathan Taylor, and that included a 200-yard rushing game. Now, we're talking about an offense that had Anthony Richardson in and out the lineup. You had Flacco in there, so Coach didn't really know what they was doing, but once Jonathan Taylor came back from that injury, he looked like that MVP candidate from a couple of years ago. And 26 years old, I think he still got that in the tank. So I think he's a guy who could get back to being a top 5 running back.
Look, there's no question he's got the talent. He's got the workload opportunity there. We love Jonathan Taylor. He's been on the show many, many times.
Twice.
Multiple times. Multiple times.
That's showbiz.
Many times. Yeah.
Hyperbole in showbiz is good.
Multiple times, Jay.
Yeah, no.
But two is many too.
Yes,
that's up there for
exactly.
All right, I'll pay it.
Yeah.
Technically correct.
Yeah.
We've never lied on this show.
Yeah, come on. He's like Debo.
Yeah.
right.
But what I get all that. It's certainly within the range of outcomes. I guess for me, I feel like Jeanty has more passing game upside than Taylor does. I don't know what this Colts team is going to be, whether it's Daniel Jones.
That's what scares me.
It better be Jonathan Taylor.
And I agree. I'm with you. You'd think, but. And yes, he was awesome down the stretch, especially again after he dropped that touchdown at the goal line there. But I feel like any of the from week blank on stats are skewed by it's small sample size, and he had that one crazy 200-yard, 3-touchdown game or whatever it was.
Against like a fake Titans.
Got to be good to get that though.
I'm with you. And I will say this, I do think he's going to be a value because just people are sort of over Jonathan Taylor. He's not like a sexy name. The Colts are a small market team, blah, blah, blah.
Or he gets hurt and you're annoyed for 3 weeks.
But there's no question he'll be a value this year.
Yep. I'm buying JT stock. I believe in Jonathan Taylor. I believe in Shane Steichen. I don't really believe in Anthony Richardson, but there's still upside there.
I believe they exist.
They do exist.
I believe in you, Anthony Richardson.
They absolutely.
We not done.
He's also been on the show, Anthony Richardson, but not many, many times, just once.
Just once.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.